This is Brent with MakeACig, and today we're going to go over the basics of voltage with respect to vaping. You'll hear all the time of devices that do variable voltage or variable wattage and some of the other types of electricity that's in names that are thrown at people when you are vaping. But at its basics level, you're dealing in vaping with two oils, vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol, that are burned with a coil or an element, and that's a heating element, and there has to be some type of voltage that's sent or that increases or decreases the heat. So you have two basic types of batteries that you'll see. One is a battery like this that is the kind that you get in a standard blister kit or usually when you start vaping. And you'll notice that it has an easy on-off, but there's nothing at the bottom here that would actually make it turn up or down. This is 3.7 volts. So this is a 3.7 volt battery, and it means it'll kick out 3.7 volts. It's sort of right in the middle. In most vaping, what you'll find with a single coil, which is what most of the clearamizers or the top parts are, the low end is somewhere around 3 volts and the high end is around 4.8 volts. So 3.7 is sort of right there in the middle. Now, the other type of battery that we have is one that varies the voltage. I have in my hands right here an eCigarette twist, which just happens to be a mechanism by which you can increase or decrease the voltage by twisting the bottom. You'll notice on here that at the very bottom of this one right here, it says 3.2 volts. And I can then turn it all the way up to 4.8 volts. So if I wanted to, and the little red line goes up, I'm at 4.8 volts. Now, what does that really mean? That means that I'm now at 4.8 volts, putting a lot more power to my clearamizer that's on the top. And when I do that, I'm going to get a much more intense heat. Now that can be good or bad. If I'm vaping something like cinnamon or spearmint, adding that much heat to it will certainly, in most cases, and for most people I would say, give it a burn taste. Cinnamon doesn't react well, or spearmint doesn't react well, or even menthols to excessive heat. Now on the other hand, if I'm vaping something that's chocolate or maybe a heavy tobacco, adding more heat to it will actually give it more flavor. So, that's the basics of the voltage and how it reacts. There are mods and other types of battery devices that will go up to 6 or 6.5 volts. The reason that is most of the times those are pushing clearamizers or tanks or units at the top that have more than one coil, say 2 coils, which would need more heat. And that increased heat, or power I should say, that increased power will give you much more vape. So there's the basics today. So you have your basic battery at 3.7 volts, and you have your basic twist that will vary the voltage from 3.2 volts all the way up to 4.8 volts. This is Brent with MakeACig, and happy vaping.